break down my monthly payments on my 2026 G80 M3 competition. I didn't want to wait to custom order one, so instead I called literally every single BMW dealership in the US, specifically looking for the carbon buckets, the Brooklyn Gray, and X-Drive. The buckets were honestly pretty hard to find, especially in the Ford blue color.
Okay, so she's got an idea of what she wants. That's great. She said that she's called every dealer in America. Now, that can cause some problems, and we might talk about that later. But it's good that she's got a bit of an idea. She knows what she wants. She's about what she wants. She's got the color picked out. She's got the trim level picked out. She's got the seats picked out in her mind, which would have helped narrow stuff down. That's what, if she called every dealer in America, she would have come across a few that would have been close. But she's gone, no, this is what I want, which is a good and a bad thing. And what I mean by that is that if you have such an idea of what you want and it's down to the finest detail, your ability to negotiate on the day is quite limited. You get quite restricted. If she calls up and she says, I want this, and this, if the dealer might have something that's close, oh, we have this, we have that, and they might be able to give her something that's in the ballpark of what she wants, but I think if you're spending that much money and you're going to drop such a stupid amount of money on a car, then it needs to be what you want. And I've seen on other TikToks people go like, oh, I want a car, and they go, hey, we don't have that in the red, we've got it in the silver, or we've got it in a white, and then they go, oh, yeah, that will do. That, I don't quite agree with that. If you truly don't care about the color of the car and the vehicle's color is the bottom of the priority list for you, then it's really good for negotiating because it gives you a little bit more wiggle room. But every time you walk up to start that car, you see that color. Every time it sits in your driveway or your garage, you see that car. So the color does matter, and if it is going to bug you a little bit, you are spending a large amount of money on this thing. If it's not 100% perfect to your taste, you need to have what you want. Ideally, like, color's just a secondary, but to some people it really matters. To some people it does matter. So, for her it obviously does. She knows the trim level she wants. She's hunting for this car. She's called all over America. So let's see what she gets up to.
But when I found this one, I knew I needed it. I have the carbon buckets, the carbon interior package, extended leather, and of course X-Drive. So with that being said, the MSRP on this car was just about $100K flat. I traded in my 2022 Chevy Silverado RST and I got $12,000 in equity, so that went right into the down payment for the M3.
Whoa, hang on. Would it help? Price? Alright, let's see. Between 107 and 153 AUD. Okay. Alright. To USD, she's in America. So we can say, alright, we'll call it the lower end of what she was showing. So let's say she did a lot of miles. Maybe she scuffed a tire or two, or didn't get got the base model and not like the higher end model. So we'll go lower end of this at 107,000 Australian shekels, or 75,000 USD, which is an insane amount of money. It's not an old car. 2023 is still within reach of where we are today. That is an insane trade. Like 12 grand for that is just, I mean, I'm gobsmacked, but I'm also on the other side of it. I'm thinking $63,000 lost quote unquote equity. It's hard to say with these cars because, you know, a car's only worth what someone else is going to pay for it. But when you think of it like that, oh, it's a lot of money.
I financed it through BMW at a 6.7 APR for 72 months. Now, with that being said, I also do not plan on keeping it financed through BMW. I'm going to refinance it through a credit union with a lower APR. My total monthly payment is $1,500, and if I didn't put anything down, it would probably be roughly around $2,200. That's my monthly payment on my G80 M3. Let's break down.
Okay, so look, a few things there. She called a few dealers, which isn't always the best thing. She obviously had an exact model in mind, exact color, exact trim level, everything. She knew what she wanted. So she's called around everywhere. The problem with that is dealers talk. A lot of dealers know other dealers. They've traded to other dealers and they're going to talk. So the fact that she's called around, well, her words, every dealer in America, someone would have known someone. And the problem is dealers do a lot of in trading as well. So a lot of the times if a dealer has someone who walks in, a customer who walks in, they want a car and they're very clear on what they want and they know another dealer's got that car, they do in trading. So they might swap a car for a car or roll a car over, or they'll do something to secure that deal. And that can also happen. So the fact that she's called around everyone, it's very likely that people have spoken to their friends, they've spoken to their friends, and word's got around that this young woman's out for a G80 and what she wants and everything. So the person who's ended up with the car has obviously got a client that will buy that car because she's so determined on what she wants, which is a good thing for both of them. She gets what she wants. The dealer's obviously locked in a sell, but at the same time, the negotiating power wasn't there. That trade-in she got on that car still baffles me. It's not a lot of money for really what she was getting. The dealers really fleeced her there, but unfortunately, when you go in with such a mindset as this person, you kind of lose that ability to make those deals because the dealers know what you want and what you're there for, and they know that if you're so determined on a certain car and they've got it, you're not leaving without signing paperwork. So unfortunately, that's happened. I mean, she's happy with it and she's glad that she's got this car now. But I think at the end of the day, a vehicle is just a mode of transport, and that's coming from someone who enjoys cars myself. But yeah, think of the financial implications. She was saying $1,500 a month for 72 months at a 6.7% APR. Now look, it was through BMW, so let's just hope. Let's just assume that maybe they threw in some servicing because BMWs aren't cheap to service. That German engineering is not a cheap thing to run. So she's just jumped into a car at basically 120 odd value, thousand value, and she's then got all the servicing and everything that comes with it. And that's the other side, the insurances and everything else that sometimes the dealers will outline, and they'll throw on an insurance package or a servicing package. But 9 times out of 10, from what I've seen on the TikTok realm, they leave that out depending on what the client needs. If the client's got a low down payment, or the person walking in, their credit score's not too flash, or their down payment's really low, they normally don't talk about the insurance and the warranties because that just adds on to like more dollars on the page, which can scare people away. So I think it's a very sad trap that people fall into. But just looking at some of the comments that she's got, 1,500 for 72 months is wild. This person says that's 120k for a car that value depreciates to 75 grand as you drive off the lot. And then finally, I traded my 2022 Silverado for 12,000 equity. And that about sums up this whole story. Let us know if you know anyone who's had a car payment as crazy as this, or if you have a car payment that you're trying to navigate. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.